The transfer market has entered one of its most electric phases in recent years, with every major club maneuvering not just for stars, but for stability, identity, and survival. And at the center of it all, familiar faces, rising prodigies, and legendary managers are shaping a storyline where nothing is guaranteed and everything feels like it could shift with a single phone call. The tension around Europe is palpable as clubs clash over keepers, midfielders, generational talents, and long-serving icons whose futures remain uncertain. It is a moment where desperation meets ambition, and where the biggest names in world football are facing decisions that could rewrite the next chapter of their careers. One of the most surprising twists belongs to Marc-Andre ter Stegen, once considered untouchable at Barcelona and widely regarded as one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. But Barcelona's financial struggles have reshaped priorities at the Camp Nou, turning even club legends into expendable assets if the numbers don't add up. The signing of young Joan Garcia marked a definitive shift. Barca has chosen their long-term number one, and it isn't ter Stegen. For a club drowning in debt and desperate to lower its wage bill, paying a massive salary to a goalkeeper sitting on the bench is no longer an option. That reality has opened the door for Besiktas, who have stepped in with a bold proposal to take ter Stegen on loan, offering to pay half his salary for the remaining months of the season. It may look like a surprise move, but for both clubs, the logic is painfully clear. Barca needs relief. The player needs minutes. Besiktas needs a leader between the posts. And for ter Stegen himself, the need is urgent. At 33, recovering from back surgery and without a single minute played this season, he finds himself staring at the possibility of missing the 2026 World Cup. Germany has no intention of selecting a goalkeeper who spends the second half of the season on the bench. For a player who once stood among the world's elite, this is a crossroads. Accepting a move to Turkey may seem drastic, but the alternative is far worse. This winter window could either resurrect his career or become the quiet beginning of the end. It all depends on whether he chooses the comfort of Barcelona or the risk required to save his international future. While one former superstar, goalkeeper, weighs a life-changing decision, another young talent has taken center stage as one of the hottest names on the European market. Arda Güler, once a promising project buried on Real Madrid's bench, has erupted into a player who now looks destined to define the next era of the club's midfield. Xabi Alonso's decision to shift him centrally unlocked a version of Güler that few expected this quickly. His control, his composure, his creativity under pressure, and his rhythm-setting intelligence have transformed him from a fringe talent into a key figure. Pep Guardiola sees it clearly. And when Guardiola sees a player who fits his system, he does not hesitate. Manchester City's willingness to deploy €100 million for a 20-year-old tells the story more clearly than words ever could. To Guardiola, Güler is not simply a rising star. He is the heir to the role that once belonged to Kevin De Bruyne, a player who can break lines, dictate the tempo, and destroy defensive blocks with a single action. A player who can carry a project for a decade. City has already made an official inquiry and is prepared to go even higher, but Real Madrid refuses to budge. They see Güler as untouchable, a pillar of their future midfield alongside Bellingham and Valverde. A contract until 2029 locks him down, and his rapid rise only strengthens Madrid's resolve. City may have the money, but Madrid has the conviction. And for now, conviction is winning. Meanwhile, a different battle is brewing in Italy, one that could reshape the balance of power in Serie A. Mike Maignan, one of the best goalkeepers in the world and the undisputed number one for France, appears increasingly likely to leave AC Milan as a free agent. His contract renewal has stalled. Milan wants clarity, Maignan wants guarantees, and Juventus wants an opportunity. This is where it gets fascinating. Chelsea tried to sign him last summer but fell apart in negotiations. Juventus, however, is moving quietly and strategically, preparing a 3-year offer worth $6 million a season, a package that could lure the Frenchman away from Milan. For a club rebuilding under Spalletti and aiming to return to elite status by 2026, Maignan could become the cornerstone. On Milan's side, the fear is growing. Losing an elite goalkeeper for nothing is not just a sporting blow, but a financial disaster. But Maignan knows he holds the cards. At 30, he is entering his prime years, and the offers coming his way are far too tempting to brush aside. Whether he chooses the Premier League's chaos or Juventus' stability will depend on his priorities. What is certain is that Milan cannot afford to drag this saga out much longer, as turbulence surrounds the goalkeepers of Europe. Manchester United faces its own storm around one of the most decorated midfielders of his generation. Casemiro, once the solution to United's structural problems, now finds himself standing at a crossroads between loyalty, financial reality, and the hunger to remain at the highest level. United's new leadership under Ineos has made it clear that the era of oversized contracts for aging stars is over. Casemiro is 33, commanding one of the highest salaries at the club, and with contract negotiations stalled, both sides know a painful decision is coming. But Ruben Amorim complicates the equation. He trusts Casemiro. He values his leadership, He believes the midfielder can still anchor United's system, and Casemiro respects him enough to consider taking a pay cut to stay. But Saudi Arabia is circling. MLS is circling. Even 2 Premier League clubs are watching the situation very closely. For Casemiro, the question is no longer about ability. It is about compromise. Accept less and stay in Europe, or take the final massive paycheck elsewhere. January will expose the truth. And finally, the story that has been whispered for years has now reached its conclusion. Didier Deschamps, after over a decade of service, will step down as manager of the French national team after the 2026 World Cup. His era has been long, successful, and often underappreciated. And in his place steps one of the greatest figures in French football history. Zinedine Zidane will take charge of France, fulfilling the role he has waited for with patience, discipline, and unwavering belief. This appointment is not just symbolic. It is a turning point. Zidane has proven he can manage egos, unite superstars, and create harmony in dressing rooms filled with world-class players. France under Zidane will be a terrifying prospect, a team with the perfect blend of talent, leadership, and tactical clarity. Zidane will not return to Real Madrid anytime soon. France is his destiny now, and under his leadership, the national team's ceiling could rise to unprecedented heights. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unfolding drama across world football, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Who should Maignan choose? Should Ter Stegen take the risk and move to Belize? And can Zidane lead France into a golden era? Let us know your take below, and stay tuned for more gripping football stories.